but she chose to wear a bold miniskirt. She even wears 10 stiletto heels. As expected, when she walked into the lounge, everyone looked at her glamorous makeup with surprise. The reason she did this to meet interview standards. She thought her looks would easily land her the job, but to her surprise, she was soon rejected. This made Julia so furious. She angrily stormed out. What Julia didn't know was that since she stepped through the door, a pair of eyes had been watching her every move. She thought the interview ended there. She did not expect an unexpected twist as she left the manor. The butler suddenly called out to her. To her surprise, he earnestly wanted her to stay. But Julia didn't hesitate and quickened her pace to leave. But when she saw the out-of-breath old man, a strange sympathy made her stop. In the end, she agreed to the casual interview. What she didn't expect was that her life would reach a turning point that day. Then, guided by the butler, she reached the secret basement. Just as she entered, she was surprised when Victor shut the door with a remote. This suddenly caused a wave of unease in Julia. However, as Victor chatted humorously, her guard gradually faded away. Then, in their talk, she learned that Victor, despite his vast wealth, was unfortunately plagued by leukemia in high school. At this moment, Julia realized that the person behind this ad was not Victor's father, but Victor himself. Interestingly, though she had no nursing skills, Victor decided to hire her at a high salary. Then Victor personally showed her the future caregiving room and gave her plenty of time to consider. So Julia consulted a friend for advice. When her friend heard about the high pay, she urged her to grab this rare chance. Faced with life's pressures and tight finances, she finally chose to take the job. The next morning, Julia hurried to Victor's place with her bags. Facing a new life about to begin, she made her requests. Victor must not enter her private space. Later, during Victor's chemotherapy, she witnessed unforgettable scenes. A boy with a blank face and a cheerful little girl though tormented. These images touched her deeply. She originally thought it was just a simple job, but it turned out to be tormenting, especially Victor's agonizing state after chemotherapy. It caught her off guard. She even collapsed in the bathroom. In the end, to take care of Victor, she purposely slept on the floor of Victor's room until he showed some improvement. She finally got a breather. But when she saw Victor's photo, from his babbling childhood to his spirited teenage years, each moment captured her past happiness and joy. But the wheels of fate are always mocking. Now all of it is overshadowed by the haze of illness. This made Julia feel heartbroken and regretful for him. At that moment, tears fell silently. Then, she stumbled back to her safe haven, trying to escape this feeling of helplessness. But as she was about to leave, then she hesitated. So she called her best friend. She cried as she shared her helplessness. Even her words were filled with concern for Victor. She knew her amateur skills were of no help at all. Only a more professional doctor could help, but Julia never expected this heartfelt conversation. Surprisingly, Victor overheard it all. At the same time, it deepened his feelings for Julia, but mostly there was profound guilt. In the end, with her friend's guidance, Julia firmly chose to stay. To better realize her own value, she carefully prepared a delightful dinner for Victor. But when she handed him the milk, she accidentally spilled it on his thesis. Up to this point, she realized Victor was not the wealthy kid she imagined, but a bright, skilled student. This revelation quietly planted new feelings in her heart. Then, under Victor's guidance, Julia experienced the artistic world he was passionate about. At the same time, to equip Julia with the ability to care for cancer patients, Victor even funded her self-improvement. Soon after, Julia used fresh fruits and veggies. She brought vitality to her life. Life became vibrant because of it. Even the butler looked at her differently. To enrich her nursing knowledge, she who never learned couldn't put the books down. As her knowledge grew and her skills sharpened, even when facing the exhausted Victor after chemotherapy, Julia managed to respond calmly. When Victor falls ill, even though she can't ease his pain, despite his furious rants, Julia remains faithfully at his side. For she knows that her quiet presence can offer Victor a small comfort. It makes the painful moments feel shorter. The next morning, to thank Julia for her company, Victor personally knocked on her door. Julia's first reaction was to think that music troubled Victor. To greet him at the door, she hurriedly ripped off her lip wax. But Victor noticed the leftover traces. This made him chuckle silently. He then sincerely invited Julia to dinner. As night fell, they arrived at the most elegant upscale restaurant. This special date but also brought their hearts closer through mutual understanding and support.